Hello, Serge here for the Backyard Driving Range. Have a question from customer service. And this is, and it starts off by saying, hello, I have been working on and off for about 3 years with your swing. If I have a break of some 3 to 4 months, the iron shots seem to come back fairly quickly. However, the driver is the problem. I can go out on my own driving range I have built, and after warming up with the low clubs, take the driver out. I seem to hit, say, 6 or 7 out of 20 fairly straight, but he says without too much power. But the others will be pulled straight left, no hook, or will slice dramatically. It does feel that I am turning my hips through on a downswing rather than getting a bump. How can I correct this? And it's signed, Regards from Australia, Daniel Larson. And Daniel, hello. I guess y'all are going to be seeing Doc Griffin. He's supposedly heading to Australia fairly soon, and do some club fittings and things. So if you get a chance, you might want to, if he's anywhere near you, check it out on the site and go see him. All right, so you're getting to a driver. You're hitting the irons pretty good, but you're getting to the driver. Naturally, the first thing I'm going to say as regards the driver, and again, if you can get to Doc Griffin, I'll bet you there's a good chance that he's going to find with your driver what I'm saying here right now. Very likely your driver is too long, especially if you've bought it in, say, the last 5, 6, or 7, maybe even 10 years, because the length in making drivers longer and longer has started about 10 years ago, and it's really escalated the last 4 or 5, where a standard driver, and I read in a daily one here, an article in Golf Week, where they were doing a write-up on like 4 or 5 of the top drivers, and the shortest one was 45 inches, and one standard one was basically selling at standard 45 3/4 all the way up to 46 1/2. You could get it. So, I mean, 46 1/2, you'd have to be about 6'5" or taller to do that. My son DJ, 6'3", and he plays a 44-inch driver. I'm 5'9", I play a 43-inch driver, which was standard 20 years ago, and for years and years like that. And even when 43 was standard, Jack Nicklaus played 42 1/2 inch, all right, and he was 5'10". So, you need to check the length of your driver. Your shaft could be way too strong or way too weak. And so that could be another issue too, even if it was the right length. And so being the longest club and the shortest face and the straightest face, any mishits where the club's coming across the ball or whatever, the ball's going to slide across the face more and get more side spin, giving you that slice if you're cutting across this way. And if you come over the top and you're coming over the top with it and you're smothering and you're turning the face down and smothering it, that's where you're going to get one heck of a big pull too. All right, the straight pulls. So the driver gives us the problems. And it's because the ball goes the farthest. If it's going offline, it's going to go the farthest offline. Another big issue is alignment. All right? As the clubs get longer, if one has a tendency to misalign, in many cases for a right-hander that's aiming right, the longer the club is, the more right you are. So therefore, you have to pull across the ball more to get back to the aiming line, and there comes your slice. And then if you aiming right, and all of a sudden you decided that you're tired of that slice, and you're still aiming to the right, then you decide that you're going to try to stay behind the ball more, and you get behind the ball and reverse weight shift, and that could be causing why you feel like you have too much hip turn and not enough bump. And I'm going to easily say to y'all, you can't bump if you aim to the right for a right-hander, or aim to the left if you're a left-hander, because the whole concept of the bump is when you ring the bell. And it's the shifting of the weight from the back foot to the forward foot with the narrow stance is only going to go, the belt buckle is only going to move about 1 inch, 2 at the max, and then you're standing up. Well, if the camera is my target and I'm aimed out to the right, if I bump, I'm hitting it right to right to right. Okay? So there's no way you can bump. The only alternative you got is to turn. So if you turn and you get ahead, and you're trying to make a good swing, and you're coming across it, there's your slice. But if you turn and you start the slicing, and you try to say, okay, I'm gonna make sure I swing at the target more, because you feel yourself coming across, then you could be slightly reverse weight shift and flip the club over, and there's your pulls. And it could be straight pulls to even pulls that'll start duck hooking. Although you said you hit it relatively straight. So alignment, I guarantee you, that's very likely one of the biggest problems. And again, if you got an issue with ball position. If you have an issue with ball position and your ball's getting too far, if you get your ball too far back, you'll be hitting it too soon, and and therefore you're having to come out of the shot, and even if you hit it solid, you're coming across it, there's your pushes and slices, and then if it gets too far forward, and you're not really paying attention to your ball position, too far forward, and you make a pretty good swing, and you hit it here when it was square, but by the time you get to the ball and hit it, look where the club face is. Instead of here, it's over there. And so there's your pull. So ball position could be a big issue here too. So again, it's like, in most cases, whatever one's problem is, we can't almost always say that it's only going to be one thing. That's why I say, what's rule number 5 in the peak performance golf swing fundamentals? If you hit a bad shot and you're wondering what you're doing wrong, the answer is, who cares? Do it right. And so do it right or do it correctly comes back to your fundamentals. Check your grip, your stance, your posture, your alignment. And in stance, ball position ends up being an important factor of hitting a ball correctly, to be at the right point at impact when our arms are straightening out, that you're hitting the ball at that moment and not too soon or too late. A ball position too far back is effectively aimed right, and a ball position too far forward is effectively aimed left. That's where I said forward could be hitting the pulls and back is hitting the blocks and everything else because you're hitting it too soon. All right? So giving you about 5 or 6 options here, and but I would say right off the bat, start off with number 1, alignment in your ball position, and then look at these other issues we talked about, and you should come into that. But don't forget, if you're hitting most of your irons good and the only club you're really hitting bad is the driver, I'm going to use the age-old expression, it might not be the Indian, it might be the arrow. Or in this case, it might not be you, the golfer, it might be your golf club. Your driver is not correct for your, everything about it is, or many things about it might not be correct in terms of the length, the face angle, and the flex and kick points and how the shaft loads and kicks. All right, and a good certified fitter will do that. All right, and can check it out for you. And so that's it for the Surge for today. And just remember that in many cases, if you're hitting a lot of your clubs good and only one bad or 2 bad, it might not be you, it might be the club. Okay, and so go get it checked. And with that, I'll close and say that's it for today, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.